Hi, this is Elena with Black Sheep 303 Creative, and my project today is using the very popular trend this Christmas season of plaid. This is the Concord 9th Plaid Background Stamp Set, along with a bunch of Elizabeth Craft Science items. So to start off with, I've got the stamp set there, and I'm going to stamp the large plaid part of it onto this piece of black Onyx Gina K Designs cardstock using Distress Oxide Mowed Lawn ink. Now Distress Oxides work really well on dark cardstock, so that's why I'm using the green on the black. The paper is cut to 4¼ inches by 5½. You can see that the stamp is bigger than that. And I am lining it up in my Misty stamping tool. I'm lining it up against the far right side, right at the 3-inch mark, just so I can re-stamp it. And I did wind up stamping it 3 times before I got a really good impression. And then this is the second stamp in the stamp set, which is like some lines. So I'm going to use some gold pigment ink, and I'm going to stamp the lines in between on those horizontal rows, I guess. And I'm going to skip one and then stamp it again. So I've got 4 gold lines. And then I'm going to flip the paper so it's vertical, and I'm going to stamp the lines again, but this time in white pigment ink. And I'm going to do the same thing. So I'm going to skip 1 row and then do 2 more again, and skip 1 row and do 2 more again. And I did want to show you that it's really easy to clean the pigment and ink off the sort of pad in the Misty. I just took a baby wipe, cleaned it right off, and it worked like a charm. Now for my ornaments, I'm using the Winter Ornaments Die Set from Elizabeth Craft Designs. I've cut out 3 of the solid ornaments out of Gina K red velvet cardstock, and 3 of the little ornament toppers out of some gold mirror cardstock. And then each one of the ornaments themselves is a different design, like a snowflake design. And I've put clear double-sided adhesive sheet on the back of the 85-pound white soft finish cardstock that I cut the, I guess, snowflake ornament toppers out of, as well as the little gold hanging ornament things, whatever those are called. And I'm going to run, so I just want to show you how I ran it through my Gemini Go. I used a cutting plate, plastic shim, magnetic shim, then the die with the cutting side up, and then the metal shim, and then the cutting plate. Because it gets really thick and it's super detailed, so like with the cardstock and the adhesive sheet on, it's pretty thick, and then the die is really detailed. So I had some trouble cutting through all the way through the back of the adhesive sheet, but it did cut through the paper no problem. So you can see I've adhered 2 of them together. I have trimmed off the ornament hanging piece from the white part, and I'm just peeling off the backing to reveal adhesive, and then just pressing it onto the red base, and then the gold little topper ornament hanger goes on top. And that's how you assemble them really easy, especially with that double-sided adhesive tape on the back. And then I cut 2 branches from the beautiful Baubles Die Set, which is a Christmas release from last year from Elizabeth Craft Science. And I'm going to take my Spectrum Noir markers and add a little bit of detail to these. So I've got my TN8, which is the dark brown, and I'm just kind of drawing in, like a hint of a branch down the center. And then I'm taking my DC3 marker, and I'm just sort of flicking over the pine needles to kind of separate them. When you look closely at the die cut after it's cut out, there are needles that overlap, and so it's kind of easy to follow along and just pull those out. And now for my sentiment, I'm using Merry and Bright from the classic Christmas sentiment stamp set from Elizabeth Craft Designs, and I'm stamping it onto the front of my A2 size top folding card base with Gina K Designs red velvet cardstock, so it matches, or ink, so it matches the cardstock. So there's my top folding card base, and then here's my plaid background, and I've added some 6mm adhesive to the back of it. Now I knew it wasn't going to fit, I was going to have to trim some of it off. I did that on purpose. So I'm kind of eyeballing the placement of my 6mm tape, and then once I get it all get the backing off of all of it, I'm going to adhere it right in the center of the card base, and then trim off the excess, and it's right above the greeting that I stamped across the right across the bottom edge. And now I've added 6mm adhesive to the back of my ornaments as well. So I've just kind of crisscrossed it on the back, and I'm going to adhere these in place and overlap them a little bit. So only those two first. And then the pine branch, you may notice, has 3mm adhesive tape on the back of it, kind of down the middle. And then I'm going to take my Zig 2A glue pen and add some dots of glue around on the branches on the rest of it to get it adhered down nicely across that top edge of the plaid and the top edge of the card. I'm going to add like a cutting plate on top of that to just let it dry. And then I will adhere the second branch down the left-hand side of the card, kind of overlapping the first one, and then trim off the excess of those pieces as well. So it's giving you the illusion of the ornaments hanging off of a Christmas tree branch. And so then this last ornament is going to go in the upper left. And then I wanted to add, you know, like string that the ornaments are hanging from. So I grabbed my T-square and an ultra-fine black Sharpie marker, and I'm just drawing a line straight up and then kind of thickening it out, and then I'm also drawing it onto the gold cardstock. I used a Sharpie because that gold cardstock is really, really shiny, and the only thing I could get to like stick onto the gold shininess was the black Sharpie, so that's why I did that. And then as a finishing touch, I'm using the two largest size glitter dots in the red and gold glitter dots from Elizabeth Craft Designs in the center of each ornament. It's just a little bit of a finishing touch and kind of pulls the gold in from the plaid and the ornament toppers. And that is the completed card. Really easy, but pretty fun, I think. You could easily assembly line this one. The hardest part is obviously stamping the plaid background. And if you didn't want to do that, Elizabeth Craft Designs does have a very nice plaid paper that you could use instead in one of their paper packs that I'll link in the supply list as well. That would work too. Although that Concord Onyx Plaid Background Stamp Set is pretty cool, and I love that you can make your own colored plaids. It's awesome. So I hope I've inspired you to try out the very trendy plaid on a Christmas card this season. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked the video, please give me a thumbs up and leave me a comment. I like getting comments. And if you have not subscribed to my channel yet, I'd love it if you do that as well. Here are 2 Christmas projects I have done in the past, so you could check those out. And I hope you have an amazing holiday season. Thanks.